Continuing on, we're going to use arrays to make something, and it's going to help us start looking at some things we can do with arrays. So we're going to work on shuffling an array. And I think one of the best things we can do to shuffle is make a deck of cards. And in shuffling, one of the things you can do is you can swap arrays positions around. So what we're going to think about here is how we're going to want to talk about an array, a deck of cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the number of cards to print the deck. So I've made a public class deck of cards, and we're going to use some methods in here. So I think the first method is going to be public static void, and now it's going to get passed an array, and so this is going to be a new deck. And so it will get a integer array, and we're going to call that the deck itself. So in my main somewhere, I'm going to create a an array that's going to have 52 elements in it, because there are 52 cards in the suit. So we'll create an array to hold a deck of cards. 52 elements. So integer deck equals new integer 52. And then the first thing we'll do is we'll create the new deck by passing it the deck. And so this method, what it needs to do is it needs to create a deck of cards. Now, by default, in Java, this deck is created with all zeros. And what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to put, an ace of spades, an ace of hearts, an ace of diamonds, and an ace of clubs. And there are 52 unique cards in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a loop, and I'm going to make an integer. I'm going to make an integer I that's going to equal 0. I'm going to go from I less than deck dot length. And then I'm going to increase I by 1. And so what this is going to do is it's going to be able to walk through each element in the deck. And then I'm going to have deck, the I, equal I. So what I'm doing is the 0th element will equal 0, the first element will equal 1, the second element will equal 2, so on and so on. And this will create a new deck of cards. Now, what I need to do then is I have to make some code for the cards. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to print, I'm going to make a method, public static void print card. And what I'm going to send over is I'm going to send one integer from the cards, and it will just be the number. So it'll be the individual card. And so what we want to do is we want to make an array that we can turn into the suit and the face value. So what we can do is we can have an array that transfers the values on the faces of the card. So I think I'm going to put this into main here. And so notice we're using this modular thinking again. We think of the things we need to do. I need to make memory for 52 things. It's going to be a deck of cards, and I create this new deck of cards. And then what I can do here is I can have a string array, and we'll have the suits. And since they will always be the same thing, we'll have spades, hearts, but I'm actually going to, I think I'll do single letters, because we'll want to print this because we should be able to make a poker game or anything out of this as we advance it. So spades, hearts, clubs, and diamonds. Since I'm only doing one character, no, I'll make them strings right now. Should I? Yeah. And then I'll make a string array for the rank. And the lowest value card is a 2. So we're just going to print a 2, 3. We're going to continue this. I might do a couple of lines here. And I think this will show us some useful things about arrays themselves. 8. Whoops, 9. I'm going to do a new line here. Let me get my indentation correct. So now we're going to have 10. And then it's going to be Jack, Queen, King, and then the ace. So we have 2 little string arrays here for printing a card. And what we'll do is if I go to print a card, I'll need an integer value, and I'll need a pointer to a string for the suits and a string for the ranks. And so now I can calculate what the card is going to look like because we can use numbers on this. If we set our numbers in such a way, then each value is going to work out for us. So if I divide, there are 13 ranks. And so if I do a modulus 13, so I can, if I system.out.printf %s, %s, then in the suit, spades, hearts, clubs, or diamonds, well, I can break my card into 13 things, and I can say card modulo. I can print out the suit, card modulo 13, or integer division. So that'll divide each card out. And then if I print the, I'll get a new line here. No, we won't do a new line. We'll let that come about. And then we'll do the ranks, which is card modulo 4. I think if I run this now, I have something that will print every card in my deck. So I have a new deck here. So I'm going to do is I'm going to make a loop, and I'm going to go for each card in for each integer card in deck. I'm going to print card, and then I need to give it the card. I'm running print card, the card, which is the card number, and then I need to give it suits and ranks. And then I'll print a new line. I think I'll print a new line every 5 cards. 5 cards work? Let's see, it doesn't divide evenly. So let's do if card modulo if card modulo, how many lines do we want to do? Well, we'll print them out by each rank. So 13 equals 0. Then we'll print a new line. And let's just see if we've got a good deck of cards here. Or do I have an exception? An index out of bound for length of, so S2 card modulo 13. S2, did I get these backwards? Suits card modulo 13. Yeah, suits should be modulo 4 and rank should be modulo 13. I got my numbers backwards because there are 4 suits and 13 ranks. Let's see if this works now. And there we go. We've printed out, let's see, I got some extra comma. Oh, I put a comma in here. That's my bad. So I'll take that comma out and let's try rewriting this again. And so here I have the 2 of spades, the 3 of hearts. I'm definitely not getting all my way through my deck. So my math on my cards is a little bit off. Here I have heart, club, heart, club, heart, club. So we want to get some way of talking about this so that the value on the card works with each other. So I have my first card is, so I'm working all 52 cards and it goes 2, 3, 4. Let me put this print out before I start a line so this neatens it up a bit. Notice I'm playing with my code to try to get some better displays. So notice I go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or Jack, Queen, King, Ace. But I'm alternating between spade, heart, club, diamond. And what we really want is we want a new deck to be all the spades and then in all the hearts and then in all of the diamonds, or spades, hearts, clubs, diamonds, and like this first order here. But we do have different cards coming out, which is nice. And we do have the entire deck. So this is a full deck. It's just not how you would get a new deck. So we have to look at what values we associate with the cards. So 0 through 13 should be, well, how about if I divide by 13? That will give me 0 through 4, I think. Let's try that. There we go. So if I divide by 13, I get all my spades first, then all my hearts, then all my clubs, and all my diamonds. So this algorithm here is how we can create a deck of cards. And we're able to pass the strings for the suits and the ranks. And we have an algorithm now where we can create a deck of cards and print out a set of cards. So we've got a really nice set of things here that we can work into creating a deck of cards. There are a couple things we might change as we move this forward. I think instead of printing the card like this, we might create a string value for the card. So return a string for each individual card that we want to print. But right now, I think the big thing we want to do is we want to shuffle the deck. But so again, we're using arrays, and we notice we have 2 types of arrays here. We have one of the suits and one of the ranks, and then we have a third that holds each card. And so individual values for cards, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, can get translated with a little mathematical algorithm into a face value. And so we can start comparing cards or making a poker game for them. So one of the things we'll next need to do is work on shuffling, and shuffling will be the next video.